This is Night Owls on Greatest Hits Radio.
You never know who's going to call next.
0191 488 3188.
Greatest Hits Radio.
And I gather we've just gone live on YouTube as well. Hello, YouTubers. Thank you very much for joining us too. We have our competition. You'll get the first question in about 30 minutes from now. Or the first clue, should I say. But let's get talking to people. Kicking off with Claire, who's in Amble. Hi, Claire.
Hi, Alan.
Hello, darling. What are you talking about tonight?
I'm talking about my friend, Carl. Has super glued his cap to his head.
Did he have a baldy head? Oh, he probably does now, but I mean, did he have a baldy head at the time?
No, but he used to always wear caps, and he'd been in Tretty Salter when you caps. I asked for a go of it, and I was wandering around, I seen the super glue in the kitchen. I thought,
Oh, dear.
So he put it back on his head, and a bit later I says, give us another go, yeah, cap, Carl. And when he went to pull it off, he couldn't get it off. He was like,
Now, I'm guessing, did he have hair on his head?
Yes.
He did have hair, right? Okay. Well, not everybody does. I'm guessing the bit where the hair was probably wasn't as glued because the hair would lift up, but round the front, I mean, how did he get it off?
He pulled and pulled and pulled, and then he had a hairy cap inside.
He had a new lining to his cap, a hairy lining. Oh, then it would be like one of those Jimmy wigs with all the hair hanging down. Oh, that's awful.
It wasn't. It was funny.
Yeah, well, I mean, as long as it wasn't you, that's absolutely funny.
It wasn't me.
Has he forgiven you, though, since?
No, he has, but he's baldy now. He never got his hair back.
This is what happens, you see. You got to be careful. Friend of mine said he was, for summer, he was going to shave down to like a Bruce Willis over the top, and his never came back either. Just the bald patch at the back, the little thing that most blokes have got, just started going and bigger until he's got a little bit over his ears that I always think should shave it off personally. But anyway, that's him. So you've been pretty naughty. That can't have been your first ever offence. I mean, what were you told off most about when you were a kid then?
Smoking and picking my nose.
And eating it or flicking it?
No, flicking it. But one day, I see my mum coming, so I hit the tab up my sleeve, and I set my sleeve and my coat on fire.
I always hated smoking for a reason, because my mother bought me a new duffel coat when I was maybe about 10. And I thought I was the bee's knees. The proper big toggles, super warm in the winter, and obviously the winters up here are quite renowned. And back then, we just seemed to have snow for weeks. However, first day I got on the bus, somebody was smoking on the bus and burnt a cigarette hole right through the back. And my mother decided not just to leave it where most people wouldn't see it. Instead, she decided to put a cuddly rabbit bunny patch on the back. Now, I'm sorry, but when you're hanging out with the lads on the street corner, the one thing that does your cred absolutely no good at all is having a cuddly bunny patch on the back of your coat. But anyway.
You wouldn't have minded if it was my bunny. I've got a bunny called Flopsy. You could have had a picture of that on it. It's fantastic.
No young man ever wants to be known for Flopsy either. That's a fact.
But
Anyway.
I'm going to tag my friend Carl on your post on your Facebook and see if he reacts to us.
Well, I do think he's got to get his own back at some stage. Or has he had a try of that already?
No, he's too nice.
This is it. We just fall at the feet of women and let them get away with
I
murder.
save him money, though, because he doesn't have to go to the barber's for a haircut. He just had to get a set of clippers to shave the other parts off now, because the other part's just baldy.
I know, but the hair thing, it's kind of like women, if you don't have a chest, it's kind of like a womany, you've got it's a man thing,
A man thing.
It is. I suppose it's just vanity, because as long as you've got a head, do you really need the hair? But it's a vanity thing with a lot of guys, I think. But anyway, you're a villain. And thank you very much for coming on, Claire. Lovely to hear from you, darling.
Take care. Stay safe,
love.
everyone.
All right, bye-bye. Super glued his cap. Now, if ever there was a story about the Northeast, for about 40 years we've been fighting against this. All people in the Northeast flat caps and whippets. And the first call tonight, well, no wonder they've all got flat caps, so they're all super glued to their heads. Amy's with us. She's in Gateshead. Hi, Amy.
Hello.
Hello there. What are you talking about?
I just wanted to know what you thought about Boris's interview the night on TV.
Well, what's your view? Get your view first.
Well, I don't think he's right.
So what do you think we should be doing then? Continue in the lockdown or?
Exactly. Lockdown, lockdown, lockdown.
Right, but small businesses are dying on the backside. I mean, is it not time for people to go back to work? That's what he seems to think.
I know, it's sad, but you can't put a price on life.
This is true. We're told that the only people that are suffering from this are the elderly, and we have to protect the elderly by staying in and not spreading it and not passing it on and all the rest of it. How do you?
My mother is 89-year-old and she's never been out the house for 3 months.
And it's probably the safest thing. But is it not wiser then, if that's the case, to say, okay, if you're 70 plus, stay indoors, everybody else get on with their life? I mean, is there no mileage to that?
I don't think so. I'm staying indoors, and younger people as well, stay indoors.
Yeah, a lot of people are suffering, and you say the government's paying some money now. They're telling us that they can't afford to keep the money going. And let's face it, most people have only had coppers from them in the first place, and now they're saying, oh, we haven't got the budget to do it, so we're going to have to pull that back and not do any more. We're going to bring that to an end. How do people live if they can't work? Is the question? Because yes, we can all stay in. But there's people who can't pay their bills already, and they've got landlords saying, unless you pay your bill by the end of the month, you're out. What are these people supposed to do?
Well, that's wrong. The landlords should be letting it go.
Yeah, well, the landlords have been told by the banks, you've got to pay the mortgage, and the only people paying the mortgage is the people who pay the rent. And if they don't pay their rent, he doesn't have the money to pay the mortgage. So it's a trail of misery, whichever way you look at it. But Boris believes, like a lot of most of Europe have gone back to work this week, and not just a fifth of it, like everybody. In France, it's almost business as normal from tomorrow.
Well, look what's happened to Germany.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're protesting there to try and get the lockdown ended. Although Tim's just told me that he saw a report in the Telegraph to say that following the lockdown, the infection rate has started to rise. It was
exactly in Germany,
but it was always going to. And do you not think that when we go back, the infection rate's going to rise because everybody's in amongst people again? But no matter what time, no matter when we go, if we go back in 6 months, when we go back, it's still going to rise, isn't it? Because then we're back amongst people. So we stay locked down forever.
Not forever, but I mean, I'm on a 12-week lockdown myself.
Right.
And I'm going stir crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm doing it.
Mm-hmm. Well, you do it. You're following the best advice that we can be given. We don't know whether that's the right advice, but it's the best advice that we've got, and we've got to go along with that. There's no question about it. But a lot of people, including GPs, think it's unnecessary. They say if a disease arrives, like a virus, it goes through the population and then it's gone. Like every virus that we've ever had, including things like the Black Death. It comes, it hits us, it goes.
I think this is different.
Well, it's different because we've all got inside and not let it pass, which means when we go out, it'll come back again. And then if we have another lockdown and then wait, when we come back out, then the infection rates are going to go back up. So I don't know what the answer to it is, but I'm not sure the lockdown is the answer. If GPs are right and we don't need to stand 2.5 meters apart and we don't need to wear a mask, what should we be doing? And why don't they tell us?
I don't know. I think the government there's a conspiracy with this government.
So, you see, this is the thing, and I know we're not being told everything that we should be
Of course we're
being
not.
told. I mean, we're not daft. We can tell there's more going on, but we're never going to find out. And that's the thing. And do the government want to ruin the economy? And if why would they want to ruin their own economy? And you see, but when you say that, because all of the small businesses are going down, people are buying whatever they used to get from small businesses from big business, and all the rich people are getting richer. So
Exactly.
oof, it's a dirty
They're
game.
culling the population.
It's a that hey.
We don't know where
who
this
knows?
virus has come from, and they're culling the population.
Well, yeah, but you see, if that's the case, then wouldn't they just say no lockdown and just let whatever happens happen then?
No.
No.
They're culling the disabled, the elderly,
Well,
and everything else.
the first time I heard them say, if you're elderly, you have your own lockdown. If you feel poorly, don't ring us. You kind of go, well, hang on. Surely, if you're
Where do
feeling
we go?
poorly, the first thing you do is ring your doctor and get them to check you out, because it might not be coronavirus, because the same symptoms of coronavirus are the symptoms of pneumonia, influenza, and 1,000 other things.
Or your common cold.
Or your common cold, absolutely. So surely the most obvious thing is to contact your GP, but they say no, wait 12 weeks. Well, if you're talking about people who are in their 80s, 90s and close to 100, how many of them are going to survive 12 weeks without any medical help? It seems a dirty, nasty game to me. It really does. Awful.
And me.
Awful out there. Anything else then, Amy?
No.
All right, well.
It's like they wish me grandchildren. I've missed them so much.
I bet they're missing you too. But thank you for taking the time to call. All the best.
Okay.
Thanks,
Thank
Amy.
you.
Bye-bye. Missing her grandchildren. Debbie Rourke, your regular listener, Pauline Patterson, is sitting all alone with her cat Toby, listening to you. She is so pleased she's found you again. She loves her Sunday nights now, which is good news. Jackie Evans, I'm sitting listening alone with my cat Emily also. And the cat's doing a Labrador impression. Connor Woodall says, I believe they haven't been strict enough on the lockdown. I've seen people in chairs with their kids playing football in a parking lot with drinks. And that was right outside my house. Carl Mullen, small traders could be okay soon. The pub and restaurant trade that I work in is one of the biggest affected. I agree, Carl. But how about this VE Day party then? All they did, when the police bust them, they said, we checked everybody's temperature before they came in. We had nobody with a fever. Everybody's fine. What's the problem? Why can't you do that at a pub door? You got a bouncer with presumably a bottle full of alcohol to sterilise the thing, and then you go dip, open up. Yeah, you're all right. Next. Why can't you do that and save an entire industry? Because let's face it, how many of you listening and watching this at the present moment, if you had the chance tomorrow, you'd pop for a pub meal, pop in for a pint, pop in for a couple of glasses of wine, or even just a Coke and a game of pool? Who wouldn't? So why can't we find a way, just a simple way? You haven't got a temperature, you haven't got the damn thing, everybody's feeling fine. We're told it's affecting those that are seriously ill or seriously old. That's horrible, but that's the truth. Now, if that is the case, surely instead of trying to protect the entire population, the majority of whom are fit enough to overcome any of the symptoms, feel poorly for a few days, but you get over it, like a number of viruses that we could have. And why don't we spend our time protecting the elderly and giving them the medical care that they've been asking for and that they've been shunned from? I can't ever believe a time when a doctor says, oh, your nana's poorly, I'll see her in 12 weeks. It just seems shabby to me. Anyway, let's move on. We have, it's Andrew in Thirsk. Hello, Andrew.
Hello there.
Hello, mate. How you doing?
I'm not bad at all.
Good. Is Thirsk all right? And you're not dropping like flies there, I hope?
No, we're not actually. No.
Good to hear. So, what's your view on all of this malarkey with Boris today?
I was going to, I am going to talk about the message that Boris sent tonight, but just on what you've just been saying there about letting people go into pubs and checking the temperature and what have you, that wouldn't work because you can be carrying this virus and you don't show any effects for ever so long.
Right.
And while you have the virus, you can be spreading it.
Right.
Like this R thing that they're talking about, you spread it to 10 other people. 10 other people spread it to 100 people. That's the idea of the lockdown. That was the idea of the lockdown, to slow down the spread of the virus.
Well,
and it's worked.
That absolutely. But as we're finding in Germany, they are easing the lockdown, probably because most of the rest of Europe is too. So they're opening borders and people can travel from country to country in Europe. Obviously we can't, but they can. And Germany's now found that the lockdown easing has caused the infection to begin again. And that is inevitably going to happen in Britain too, isn't it?
Yeah, it will do. You see, in some countries, this is what's happened. It's spiked again. It's away again. Because the virus needs people to move. It can't move on its own. It's got to be transmitted by people. And that's, I mean, I'm no expert on it, believe me.
No, but it's not...
I'm 70 years old, so I'm in the...
You're in the danger zone, absolutely. But I mean, you've got to know yourself, though, that this virus, we can stay indoors all the time. But it's within the community anyway, massively, in the British population. It's not going anywhere. Do we not have to let it out so that people can get it, see it through, get immunity to it, and then it can't hurt us as much?
Well, you could say that, but then a lot of people will die. A lot more people will die than with 30,000 has died already in the UK. But you probably treble that if you let it.
But Boris is apparently, it's just according to one of the news reports yesterday, Boris has been saying that we could have as many as 500,000 up to 700,000 die in Britain over the next 5 years. Now, if we're going to have this thing for 5 years, we can't stay indoors all the time. Well,
I don't think we'll have it that long. I did read some expert who said these viruses last 70 days.
Right.
After 70 days, they start to die off.
Yeah,
but they can come back again.
Yeah, but they begin to die off after 70 days once they've gone through the population, because we've never locked down before. So surely the 70-day thing's going to be knocked into a cocked hat, because it's going to come back out again and maybe run for another 70 days.
Well, it could do, but I mean, the death rate is falling at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we're around that 70-day time or whatever.
Right, but then we're going to be out as of tomorrow. A lot of people going back to work, a lot of businesses opening their doors again.
Now, what I wanted to say about the Prime Minister's message. Now, I'm a small shopkeeper. Right. I have a small electrical business in Thirsk. Right. Only a small shop. I've been in business for 40 years.
Good man.
I was told I had to shut the shop. Legally, I had to shut the shop.
Yeah.
I couldn't open it. I had to put a message on the door. I can sell things online and legally deliver them.
Right.
And I can go out and do repairs, which I do. And I haven't missed a morning going to that shop, quite honestly.
Right.
But me gripe was, other shops, when they made these rules, they said takeaways can stay open, they can serve food. Yep. Butcher shops can stay open, they're serving food. Hardware shops can stay open. News agents can stay open. Chemists can stay open.
Everybody but you, mate.
Providing they use the social distancing rule.
Yeah.
So what the hell difference does it make what business you are if you use the social distancing rule? Now, it still hasn't relaxed my business. I still can't legally open because he's done nothing tonight to make it say I can open.
Well, he says he wants people to start getting back to work again. Surely that means you too.
No, it doesn't, because there's a list of businesses that can legally open.
But I thought the building trade was one of them, isn't it?
No,
you're an electrical engineer, so isn't that you?
No, I would say I'm still cannot open legally, as can't hairdressers, and lots of other businesses.
Right.
And it's crazy, really, because in big towns and where there's big shops, I would agree with it. But your places like Thirsk, it's a small rural place.
Ah.
We're in the Hamilton district, we have a population over 80,000.
Right.
We've had 40 cases of COVID-19.
So you'd be one of the safer places on the
It is
planet.
a safer place. We've only had 40 cases.
Right.
I don't know how many Middlesbrough's had. They've had quite a few more, I think.
Sure.
But you say Middlesbrough's a more highly populated place.
Sure, you're more rural and you're more out the way. Absolutely.
And so people, and there are small shops, like there isn't big shops, and you can social distance. I mean, if you go into Tesco's, it's a bit of a rat race. You're dodging people with bloody trolleys, and they're telling you to keep away from them. What a bloody nightmare. Now, what he said tonight is people can go to the seaside after Wednesday if they want to.
Yeah.
So I can get my vehicle out after Wednesday if I want and come to Redcar and go onto the beach. What a bloody senseless thing that is to say. Bringing everybody, it'll be mobbed with Redcar Beach
Yep.
with people from all over North Yorkshire.
Absolutely.
And the police, the job was hard enough before tonight, trying to sort people out who were travelling legally and not legally, but it's going to be a damn sight worse after Wednesday.
But the thing is, Andrew, if you think about it, you know how you mentioned going to one of the big supermarkets and you're dodging trolleys. You're within, and I don't care what anybody says, in those supermarkets, you're far closer to people than 2.5 metres. You're passing them in aisles, they're cutting past you. I walked into a woman in a supermarket last Thursday, and the look she gave me, I could have, have burnt a house down. I mean, the look, and it was purely by accident, going round the corner. Oh, there's a person. And the panic was there. And yet, if people, it's not a lockdown, if you can have a shop full of people getting close to one another, it's not a lockdown. So
That's right. I agree with you.
The rule for you, it's like having one rule for one and one rule for another, and it's not fair on a huge amount of small businesses who, and I know you're saying that you're managing to get the odd job and that you haven't missed a day down at the shop. I know a lot of people in a whole range of trades that have just been sitting around hoping they get furlough money, and in many cases not getting a penny, and their jobs are at risk, their companies are liable to go to the wall, and heaven knows what's going to happen in the industry, the food and drink industry. Blimey, there.
See, fortunately, the government said that everybody who had a small business like mine, and if you were in receipt of rate relief, business rate relief, you got £10,000 for nothing.
Yeah.
I got £10,000.
Brilliant.
Just put into my bank.
Lovely.
I didn't ask for it.
Right.
Well, I did, actually. I did. I filled the form in to get it.
Right, sure.
But it's gone into my bank.
Good.
Which is to help me through this thing.
Yeah.
As a self-employed person, I can't get any other money because I can't get furloughed.
Right.
Or I can apply for money, but it's a nightmare applying for it, and I would get nothing at the end of it.
Yeah.
But I mean, they can't carry on paying this furloughed money,
No,
80% of a person's wages. And I'm not talking about a few of them, there's millions of them.
Absolutely.
How long can they carry on doing it?
Well, they're saying that they've run out of money now after the second month, and then they're going to be bringing it to an end, which is another reason why I think Boris said what he said today. They can't afford to keep paying for it, so they're slowly going to open the doors. Tony makes a point about what you and I are talking about. He says that how will we end up getting herd immunity, which is the thing that apparently we need, if everybody stays in? Everybody shouldn't stay in. They should get out. We should get the herd immunity. And those people who are going to die will die one way or another. If it's their time, they'll go. If it's not their time, they'll survive. I don't want anybody to suffer by any means. I want everybody to be well. But how do you get herd immunity if we're all locked down?
Absolutely. I mean, I sympathise with anybody who's lost a member of their family with this COVID-19. whether they've lost them in hospital, at home, or wherever. But you're right there. Now, at the moment, I think most of these deaths are occurring in homes,
Care homes, yeah.
and hospitals.
Yeah.
They're not occurring in the wider public.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the government was very lax in the first instance with care homes.
Mm.
Care homes, I was listening to a professor about this, and he was a professor who'd handled swine flu and God knows what, and he'd handled pig flu and also. Yeah. And he said, didn't they realise that once it got into a care home, it was going to travel like wildfire? The blooming government was sending people from hospitals that had COVID and putting them in care homes.
Absolutely. We've handled it badly, whichever way you look at it, because we're, I think, second worst in Europe for deaths per head of population. And the care home thing, once again, it's like you're in a care home, you're an older person, self-isolate for 12 weeks and then let us know how you're feeling. Well, if you're still around, you know, it...
No, another thing, you've got these privately owned care homes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some of them have maybe 10 people in, some have 30 people in.
Yeah.
They're charging them £800, £1,000 a week.
It's been a license to print cash for a lot of years, hasn't it?
They've never supplied their workers with PPE.
Mm.
They've gone crying to the government. We want some PPE. What the hell are they doing with all the money they're taking off them? If I'd been running a care home and getting all that money off people per week, I would have, the first thing I would have done as soon as I heard about this virus was lock the place down. I would have said, there's nobody coming here that's to bring that virus in here, and my workers are going to have the best equipment there is. Right.
Well, I would absolutely agree with that. But the thing that we found is the reverse happened. They let people come from hospitals and let's face it, how many times prior to all of this had you heard about somebody going into hospital and then they're just getting ready to come out with their broken arm fixed and they've got MRSA or one of another catalogue of infections that's going around, and they end up in hospital for 3 months instead of a day and a half, you know? So to put somebody from hospital where there's that whole petri dish full of stuff flying around and then put them in a home where everybody's vulnerable just seems madness to me.
It is mad. Another thing what you mentioned about doctors' surgeries, right?
Yes.
GPs.
Yes.
God help anybody who wants to see a doctor because they've just gone to ground.
Yeah, they're nowhere to be seen.
They're nowhere to be seen. Ours, first of all, when this thing came about, there was a picture of them on Facebook. We are here to help you, don't worry. If you need to see a doctor, you phone up and then we get you on a video link and God knows what. We've never seen them since.
Yeah.
I hate to think if you wanted to see a doctor because you have no bloody chance.
Well, I tell you, the one thing I don't want is a doctor, you know, telling a member of my family to give me a prostate check. I certainly don't want that over the camera so he can record it and show his friends. I don't think so. Hey, well, Andrew, it's been a joy. Thank you very much for calling.
Thanks a lot.
Love having you on. Stay safe and stay well, my friend.
Same to you.
Take care. Bye-bye. Now, you know, despite it all, cheesy link, life is sweet. The weather's been fine. Bit of a breeze today, but a gloriously bright, sunshiny day with an icicle breeze. Not a bad thing. So you've got to count a blessing or two. Hopefully, everybody around you and those that you love are well. And if that's the case, we're not doing too badly.
voice of the North.
Alan Robson's Night Owls, the phone-in that gets you talking.
You are with the big one, and lots of messages came in. I've jotted them down. Wee Beastie says hi from Jarrow. Alison loved that last song, classic from her past. Kim Harmer is at home with her two pussies. Damien Johnson, his mum tested positive, and that was for 7 days. And then after that, she was told to go back. She has to go back to work, even though she's got the damn thing. Where's the sense in that? Louise Dudden, relaxing, good to know. Peter Charlton, Alan is obviously against lockdown. I'm actually not against a lockdown. I've had a reasonably pleasant time. I've been unemployed for a year. In real terms, 1 day a week doesn't cut it. And I'm on lockdown, and it is what it is. Is it right, though? I question lockdown. If GPs say it's not the right thing to do, why are we doing it? Surely you've got to listen to the expert. Not convinced, that's all. Not convinced it's the right thing to do, but I'm going along with it. Min Moo says, love you too, Min Moo. And Claire Wallace wants lockdown to continue. She doesn't want any more deaths in Northumberland. Godzilla, Alan, you are number one. I've listened for 40 years. Absolute respect. Purple Raindrops, big hi to you too. Ken Mead, this virus is going to be with us now, even after the herd immunity thing. It's a virus that's going to be with us all the time. It's like cold and standard flu. It's going to be about. We have to get used to it. And Gary Solomon is listening to the show, or watching, should I say. And in Rotherham, good to have you with us too. Thanks, mate. What could you do in Rotherham? Probably go to the Wentworth Gardens, or the garden centre's probably open now. I have a plodge in the Don. Boris says it's all right now. You can go out with your family, have a plodge. Right, so let's crack on and see who's next. Oh, it's Linda, who is in Dunstan. Hello, Linda.
Hello, Alan.
Hi, Don.
First of all, I want to give you a bit of a laugh. I listen to your podcast every week, basically.
Good.
The last 4 weeks, oh my God, you were talking so quickly. It was like one sentence was talking into another sentence, and I couldn't understand a word you were saying. And I was talking to a friend, and he said, well, it doesn't sound like that on mine. And I said, well, it's been like this for weeks now. I'm going to phone, I'm going to speak to him.
Right.
He says, well, have you checked your iPad? And I thought, well, what do you mean, check my iPad? And I pressed the button, I'd put you on 3 times the speed.
So probably sounded like I was 16 years. No, that's good though. I sound like I'm 16 again. Fantastic.
You sound more like a chipmunk.
So you've got me back on properly now, anyway.
I have, and I've had the great pleasure of listening to the last 4 weeks.
That's brilliant.
So it was wonderful. I could actually understand because I kept rewinding it and playing it again. I kept I still got to understand it. That's what you sounded like there. But I know it makes it sound like a complete pillock, but the last iPad I had, I didn't have that facility.
Oh,
but the new one, I must have just picked it up the wrong way, and there you go. I speeded you up.
When it comes to technology, I'm the worst. I'm really the worst at it. I'm horrific at it. So you don't have to apologise to me about it.
Well, if I hadn't said to a friend, I said, listen to this. And she said, well, what's... She said, it doesn't sound like that mine. I was listening to the last 2 calls. I listen to all the calls that come in. I just wish you on every day, But can live in hope, can't we? I still do. That gives you more days. My son works for himself, and
is he open yet?
He's lucky because he does a lot on the internet.
Right.
But even so, sort of the local business, he says it's killing him,
Absolutely.
And he's got 4 kids, and he's like you said, he needs to work.
Yeah.
So I'm glad for him. I really am.
You see, in a way, I can kind of understand it. If you're a person who doesn't work, if you're a person who's elderly, I can understand everybody saying, or if you're on full pay for not working, because there's a few people in that fortunate position too. If you're in those kind of situations, I can imagine if somebody says, do you want the lockdown to end? Then you'd say, no. Well, why the hell would you?
Well, of course not.
But if you're in the position of your son, he's got 4 kids to feed, and it doesn't matter how much he sits at home, it's not, the bank balance is
Well,
just
yeah,
going down
there's
and
a
down
mortgage
and
to
down.
pay and everything else, you know what I mean? And it's hard. It's not going to say any other. I mean, he's been really worried.
I got a friend
So,
of mine who...
I'm really pleased for him. But, I mean, I'm also pleased for myself because I've been sick of sitting in. You know what I mean? And I don't care what anybody says. Like you said, you go to the supermarket and you're never 2 metres away from anybody.
No.
You know, I mean, people are pushing past you, reaching across, And, I mean, to be quite honest, I'll probably do that to other people as well, mind you, not intentionally, but you just do.
They do look at you, though, as if you've got poo on your shoe.
Well, we were sitting outside the shop. I was inside the shop, and Ryan, who was with us, was outside the shop.
Yeah.
And you had the window down because it was a hot day, and this woman was standing on the pavement staring at him and staring at him. And eventually she sort of shouted from the pavement, "Would you mind putting your window up?" And he says, "Why, what's the matter?" She said, "I want to get into my car." I mean, it wasn't as if it was parked right next to him.
No.
But he wouldn't go and get into a car until he put his window up. You've been in the shop standing next to me.
You see, the thing that I've noticed, and I'm not going to name the shops because I've named them a couple of times on air, and I want to be able to go back into them at some point.
Of course you do.
And it's just there's some of them that have put the arrows on the ground, and you're supposed to follow the arrows. You know, I don't know, presumably like Dr. Livingston. This way. You know yourself when you're shopping, you get to the bottom of that first aisle, which is usually fruit and veg.
Yeah.
And you turn the corner into tin cans, whatever it is, and you go, forgotten the bananas. And you've got to go back. And as soon as you turn back round, everybody going down that row goes, a person! There's a person coming! They're all leaping to the left, like you've got the lube.
Madness.
It is crazy.
I mean, I've been on before. I think this whole thing is. I don't think we've been told the truth.
No,
I don't think we'll ever be told the truth about what this really is. But I certainly don't think it's. I mean, when COVID was first announced, the Department of Infectious Diseases downgraded it from serious to moderate. And then we had the lockdown.
Yeah.
But that Department of Infectious Diseases did not increase it again. They said no. In fact, they lowered it. If you go onto Twitter and zone my hospitals, you'll see the hospital things, the beds are, there's so many beds empty, it's ridiculous. Yet we've spent millions on these nightingale places, where there's only been 24 people in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, what happens if you've got a kid or you've got a mother or a father or a sister who last year, well, even a few months, well, not last year, who was needing extra sort of drugs that wasn't available readily, and you have to go in front of the committee, and you're told that your child has to go without these drugs and die because there's not the money, there's not the funding. Yet all of a sudden we can pour all this money out of midair.
Yeah.
That really gets me, because I keep thinking, hang on a second, I would be so angry. Luckily I've never been in that position, but I know people who have.
Absolutely.
And they went on to crowdfunding to raise money to get their kids to America for operations and different things. Yeah. And I think, this is madness. There's less people died this year than there has the past 3 years.
Yeah.
The number of people who have actually died from COVID alone is approximately 4.8%.
Yeah.
You can tell I'm obsessed with sort of like...
No, but this is... Well, you say I did this. If you remember, about 4 weeks ago, I went into all the figures and I said, do you realise that more people died last year than have died this year, even without the COVID?
But
and
you know what?
Nobody seems to be prepared to listen because the press, the
scared.
government and everybody have got their machine working to such a degree... Everybody's pooing in their pantaloons. That's.
But you know what worries me is it must be something far more serious than what the town was.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, why make up this big lie?
And why should every country make up and stick to the same lie? That's the thing.
Yeah. And I mean, it's obviously a global thing, but we'll never find out where it is. But you know how they put this thing of if anybody on the front line who dies of COVID gets £60,000. Well, the families do this, but not much good to them if they're dead. No. But they get their £60,000. However, talking to a friend who's a doctor, and they said it's all very well saying that, but if you die of a heart attack, and they say, oh, you've got to sign this paper saying, because you have to sign the paper saying it's COVID related, and you say, well, actually, no, it was a heart attack.
You don't get the money.
You don't get the money.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen? Everybody's going to say, well, actually, yes, it was, COVID related.
Yeah, but if it was a heart attack, it's not COVID that you die of. And you see, if you think about it, it's the same as cold, it's the same as flu. If you get flu, you don't die of flu. You die because the flu leads to pneumonia, and you die of pneumonia. You die of something else. So this is why I'm so surprised that so many people are being attributed to COVID. Because I remember, and I can quote several occasions where front page of the newspaper, a young child dies, and then page 15, two days later, we said it was COVID. It's actually not COVID.
Yeah, I know.
It was this other thing, but it's too late because the fear's already sunk in. Oh, me bairns could get it. Well, children generally are resistant to it. They'll feel a bit poorly for a couple of days, but they'll be fine. It's people that have got immune problems or people who are elderly. And we're being told now people of colour 4 times more likely to contract it. I don't know where that came from. Don't even know if it's true, but it was in the press.
Yeah, I read that.
Hey, who knows?
Well, anyway, but yes, I thought you sounded like a chipmunk, and I thought maybe you were short on sort of like funds, and you were trying to get it all in one go.
Well, I hope you're enjoying it now. You know what the hell I'm talking about.
I do. I always enjoy it. And I'm always on Robson's World, and I bought myself a couple of things, and you know what I mean.
Thank you kindly.
You know, I love listening to you. I love the Night Owls. I've listened to you since when you first started off in Swalwell, you know what I mean?
When I did sound like a chipmunk.
Yeah, well, you did sound different than you do now, but you just sound more sophisticated now.
Oh, well, I'll go with that. I'll take that, Linda. Thank you very much, darling. All the best.
Okay, you take care.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye. So there is Linda from Dunstan. Yeah, she just didn't realise. Oh, and he's back. Blimey, he's not on for 100 years, and he's back 2 weeks in a row. Paul from South Shields. Hello, Paul.
Hello, Alan.
Hello, mate. How you doing?
I'm not so bad. How's yourself?
I'm okay. Blimey, you must be presumably still locked down then.
I'm still locked up. Aye, yeah.
Well, if anybody was going to be locked up, it should have been you. Many years ago, you should have been locked up.
Canny-sized kids, you were. Anyway, naughty stuff as kids.
Yes, please.
Me and my twin sister, Elizabeth, we got up with some mischief when we were young. My dad got this Brill cream dispenser. I don't know if you can remember them. Had like a plunger on the top.
Oh yes, and they were blue.
And well, I think this was white. But anyway, you pressed it down, and they gave you a dollop of Brill cream. Good sound effect.
I'm scared where this is heading already, man.
No, well, we climbed up on the bench because we were little.
Right.
We got the chair out, and we climbed up on the bench, and we were squirting this into the sink just so we didn't make a mess. And we thought, this is brilliant. By the time we got bored with it, we'd emptied the whole dispenser into the sink. So we had to keep our pants warmed and send to bed.
I can imagine.
And we used to, when we were a bit older, we got into what we call like diving through hedges.
Oh, yeah.
We called it.
Yeah, hedge hoying, we called it, yeah.
Aye, so you see how many of the gardens you had gone diving through the hedges before you got caught or got wrong. Or...
but did you ever jump into one of them that had them really prickly bushes?
Oh, no, we had done a recce before we did it.
Oh, did you? Yeah, better than me. No, we did about 8 on my way home from school. We used to work, for those people what know it, we would come from Atkinson Road School in Benwell, and we'd walk up either Jones Street or Ethel Street or one of the streets next to roughly where we lived, purely and simply because I had hedges. And we would like hedge jump either side of the road. Like I did it, then he did it, then I did it, then he did it, and all the way up. And he must have sussed it, this street, because there was this one hedge, and it was those... They had spines about the size of your nose, the length of your nose, these things.
Aye.
And I came out, and I looked like I'd been tattooed, like those Maori tattoos that they use hammers.
Aye.
And there's all these holes in my arm. I'm going, and then you've got to pull the damn thing, pull them all out. Horrible. Horrible things.
I had a similar thing, like with a family to Bamburgh Castle.
Yeah.
When I was just little, and we're in the dunes next to Bamburgh Castle, and running up and down these dunes. And I went running doing one of them, and it was all grassy. I should have been where the sand was. But anyway, I went running doing, got to the speed where I couldn't stop, and went like head over heels, but I landed in these brambles. You can imagine the howl that I get. Oh, hey, that was awful. That similar to what you got.
No, it's just terrible. I remember. Where was this? It was halfway to Carlisle, and I took this lady out for a drive, and she'd found this way. Now she was wearing. Remember when everybody, men and women, everybody was in like combat pants. She was in combat pants, and I was in shorts because it was a sunny day. And she says, I'm going to climb over this wall. I'm going to go down to the river because it's country. It's the countryside. It was the Tyne, but it was the North Tyne. So she climbs over the wall and goes down there. Now, I climb over the wall, and there's greenery all the way down to the wall. Down to the water, rather. Now, problem here is I just see greenery, woman at the end of it. So really, I'm only saying woman at the end of it, of course. So I walk straight the way through, all the trees and the bushes all being pushed to one side. When I got to the other side, they were all nettles, and both legs came up like corned beef. It was, and let me tell you, there's one thing that guarantees that Rumpus Pumpus is never going to be on it. When your legs are brambled and nettled and the thing is, you're supposed to get somebody to wee on it. It's a first date. By the way, will you do me a favour? That wasn't going to go down well at all. So you're driving back, kind of.
There was any dock leaves about it.
Well, I wasn't going to trust my judgment with dock leaves. No, you pick one of them up, it might be another nettle for as far as I was concerned.
There's a hell of a difference. Never mind. Anyway, just update on what's been happening. Me and Susan, our grandparents again. Our Kerry gave birth to Isaac on the 13th of May last year, and it just happens to be the same day that Alyssa's birthday.
Oh, how about that? Right.
It's amazing. So this May, the 13th coming, he'll be 1, and Alyssa reaches a grand old age of 13.
How about that? Brilliant.
Oh, she's 13, gone on about 30. Like she's well clued up. Like
I was going to say. Well, I mean, she comes from the right kind of stock to learn everything early. I think definitely.
Yes, some things that she shouldn't know, but she constantly shocks her old granda.
That's brilliant.
Anyway, then we job window cleaning, night shift in Leeds.
Really?
Right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it was nearby where the casino and that was, and the night clubs. And anyway, there's some various states staggering past and shouting and abuse and and bodging their way through all the barriers. But anyway, there was this one lady, she took that past when we were cleaning, like up near the top level of the windows, and she was shouting, and I made like, get your bit too for the lasses. And we had a bit of banter and a bit of laugh, and then she shouts, "Oi! What?" And we looks over the side, and she pulled open the halter neck dress and bared her chesticles. And she had the night up. I had to grab hold of the window cleaner because he was nearly with the kids to try and get him in the clothes.
Excellent.
So anyway, into some of my usual rubbish. So I just deleted all the German names off my phone. It's now hands-free.
Oh, dreadful. Dreadful.
What's the difference between a hippo and a zippo? One's really heavy and the other's a little lighter.
Oh, boom.
Oh,
hang on, there's got to be a...
Thank you. I recently decided to sell my vacuum cleaner. All it was doing was gathering dust.
Oh, he's good. He's on fire, this boy.
There's a couple of headlines. China may be using the sea to hide a submarine. Tiger Woods plays with own balls, Nike says. And what's the best thing about Switzerland? I don't know, but the flag is a big plus.
Hey, it is. Absolutely. Brilliant.
Yeah. A bear walks into a bar and says, "Give me a whiskey and cola." "Why the big pause?" asks the bartender. The bear says, I'm not sure I was born with them. All these are the best.
Classics.
What's the difference between a cat and a comma? A cat has claws at the end of paws, and a comma has a pause at the end of a clause.
Ah, what a man.
So I can't say anonymous male individual took a trip to the emergency room after a particularly gruesome vibrator and solid tongues incident, which I'm sure everyone learns during the first year of medical school. The gent in question used the buzzy thing, which unfortunately got stuck. Unsurprisingly, he was too ashamed to go to the emergency room because he's human. Naturally, the next step was to try and correct the problem himself by fishing it out with his best salad tongues and failing miserably. After his humiliation, he finally turned himself over to the medical professionals, and they were able to extract both the tongues and the device for a small fee of tens of thousands of painful life-ruining dollars. Did you know when you walk through a door and you forget why you're there, it could be because you've encountered an alien and you had to erase your memory so you got scared?
Never thought of that.
No,
I should start using that excuse. About 3 times a day as it goes.
At least, yes, I'm with you on that one, buddy. So finally, it's with great sadness I have to mention the loss of a few local businesses as a result of COVID. A local bra manufacturer has gone bust. A submarine company has gone under. A manufacturer of fluid blenders has gone into liquidation. A dog kennel has to call in the retriever. And a company supplying paper for origami enthusiasts has folded. The local strip club has gone boobs up. The Flora is pruning its business, and Dynarod has gone down the drain. The saddest one of all, though, is the ice cream van man found dead, covered in nuts and raspberry sauce. He couldn't take it anymore and topped himself.
What a man. Top
There you
class.
go, Alan.
Cheers, Paul.
buddy.
Good man. Bye-bye.
Hello.
It's like turning back time. Paul back doing what he always did so superbly well for donkey's years. And then we lost him for a while, but he's back. Good to know. The rallying of the owls. Always good. Now, piece of music. And no, I am aware I haven't given you the first clue. The first of 4 clues, they're all lyrics of a big hit song. It's a bit of a rocky one, this. Will you work it out? Well, I don't know. I'm going to give you the easy version of the first clue. I was just going to say, what do Native Americans call the Europeans who invaded and murdered them? They described them as what? But instead, I'll give you the darn stupid way. What is the opposite of black? And what is the opposite of woman? And you put those 2 words together. That's your first clue. You got 3 more clues to come. Do not try and guess it till you hear the 4th clue. Because those that try to guess it, I'll say, well, okay, what's the 4th answer? And you go, well, I don't know. So wait till you hear the 4th clue. Now, a lot of you missing friends and family and all the rest of it. I don't want to get too slavery, but this is kind of what you feel about those special, special people in your life.
Night Owls with Alan Robson.
What are we talking about next? You make the call. 0191 488 3188.
Greatest Hits Radio.
And thanks for being with us. Hello, everybody on YouTube and also Facebook Live. Going to be a busy night tonight. Lots and lots and lots of messages. Mark Smith says, me and my dad love all of the ghost hunts. A lot of people asking about the ghost hunts. We don't do them on this particular station. We've done a couple of them since, and we've put them straight onto robsonsworld.com if you're interested. They love Jean as well. He says she's a legend. Reverend Flasher, hi Al, love the show. We need more. Tell me about it. Simon Horn, bonjour. You're looking well there. Liking the live show, which is great. Glad you do. Got some more ideas about live, but we may have to do that ourselves. Paul Stevenson, happy birthday to my mum, Wallace Tommy. Wayne Hopi from Concert says he's back with the Night Owls. Ross Teasdale, love you, and I've loved the show since I was 12. Please say hello to Neil in Bedlington. Hi, Neil. Jenny Brooker, I beg your pardon. When are you doing your ghost hunts again? See previous answer. Wee Beastie reminds me of a time in 1980 when on Fridays we used to do a thing called a Crazy Night where everybody could come on, sing, play instruments, choirs. And so one of my happiest memories of Night Owls, I was on the metro and I was going down to Tynemouth just for a walk, essentially. And directly, you know how some of the seats are back to back? There was this couple of people talking and this woman was saying, never guess what I saw last night. There was a phone box at the end of our street and an entire choir was singing down the end of a telephone. It was one of the strangest things that I've ever seen. Well, the previous night was a crazy night, and this choir, on the way home from the practice, decided they were going to give me a ring from a phone box, and they'd been live on air on the Night House programme. Fabulous, happy days. But Wee Beastie and his pals came on to sing Relax, and I said something like, that's enough of Frankie Goes to Hollywood, and cut him off. And he probably deserved it. Joan Dixon. I haven't read out a story about how she put flour in her teacher's shoes. You know, we're talking about naughty stories. And Jenny Laidler. Just great to hear Paul from South Shields back again. Also, Anonymous says, the doctors should lose every penny they have earned. They are running away from their duty. It's a disgrace. Traitors, most of them like the pay when it's nice and easy. Mark says, if the government want lockdown to continue, it's okay by me. I'm starting to get used to it, mainly because my money's mounting up. If they don't want us to spend our money, that's their problem. Better in our pockets than theirs. There you go. And by the way, is there no way you can be back Sunday to Thursday, even just for lockdown? The answer is no. And also... that's the anonymous message being repeated. I'm trying to get as many out there as I possibly can, but let's get some more live. You got the first clue. Remember, gave you that. 3 more clues to come. And we have James, I think, who's in Darlington. Hi, James.
Hello, Alan.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you kindly. What are you talking about tonight?
Right, well, first of all, I've had 2 surprises today.
Ooh, what's that then?
Oh, my daughter actually cares for an 84-year-old woman.
Right.
Now, in the last couple of weeks, she broke her hip. She was in hospital. She broke her arm. She went back into hospital. And then 2 days ago, she had a stroke.
Oh, my God.
84-year-old, though.
Poor soul.
And still drinks a bottle of vodka a day.
Shit. Well, if you class the vodka as anaesthetic, you can understand how she's getting over all of this.
Yeah. Now, my daughter, on a Sunday, works to take away a cab.
Right,
Now, the fella that runs it's called Jeff. He's grown his hair long to do a sponsored haircut, you know, his beard and his hair.
Right.
I said, well, why haven't you had it done yet? He said, no barber's open to do it.
Well, that's right, because it's hard to cut your hair if you're 2.5 meters away, I suppose.
Right. And also, she came round my home. I shouted, who is it? Because I could hear her coming up the stairs.
Yeah.
She brought me 3 dinners that were supposed to be delivered. Jeff had gone to the house. Nobody replied. So he said, I took them in the bin. And my daughter said, no, I'll give them to my dad. So I've had a pork dinner, a beef dinner, and there's a chicken one there, which I don't like.
Can you not just hide the chicken off and stick something else on the something else dead on the side of it?
I was thinking of that, yeah.
Yeah, some corned beef or something. Hey, you got to
Right,
be a way
talking
around.
about doctors,
Yeah.
I got a phone call at 4 o'clock, and the voice said, "Hello, this is Dr. Suez." I said, "Are you working on a Sunday?" She said, "Yes."
Wow.
She said, "Did you get the 3-page letter we sent you about the court?" Yeah, I said, "Yes, I got that." And I had a good chat with her,
Right.
and she's a lovely lady. She's
Right.
very small. She comes from Egypt. She's called Mana Suez.
Right. Lovely.
And she works at the Orchard Court Surgery.
Well, she's certainly on the ball Sundays. I've never heard of such a thing.
Well,
Not
she
from a
rang me up this
GP.
afternoon.
Brilliant.
Now, my father, during the war, he worked on the Newcastle side of the Tyne
Right.
in all the dockyards.
Right.
Now, he had a key for every yard. He could go through any of the yards.
Right.
Anyway, the naval ships used to come in. He'd do whatever job he was supposed to be doing on them.
Mm-hmm.
And when he'd done a good job, they'd take him out to sea and get him rat-arsed. And then they'd bring him back and take him home in the naval car and used to help him up the stairs to every other day.
That's
And then
brilliant.
he'd get a certificate off them, like, maybe it's a month later saying, "Thank you for doing such a good job."
Brilliant. Hey, how good is that?
Now, I told you before, my grandmother was illegitimate to the Duke of Northumberland.
Right.
And now my dad, when he was younger, walking around Newcastle, used to get mistaken for the then Duke, and people used to buy him drinks.
Wow. I mean, he looked that similar.
Yeah, he looked exactly like him,
Wow.
the then Duke.
Right.
Now, when he was on his deathbed, this Duke, he asked for all his, can I put it crudely, bastards,
Right.
to come forward.
Uh-huh.
Now, in them days, being a bastard was frowned upon, and my grandmother's husband wouldn't let her go forward to get some inheritance.
Right. How about that?
There you go.
Yeah, because being born on the wrong side of the bed, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wrong
Well,
side of
in
the
them
sheets.
days, the Lord of the Land could have anybody he wanted to work for him.
Right.
And obviously, he took advantage of me great-grandmother who worked in the kitchen for him.
Right.
Have we got time for another one?
Oh, always from you, mate. No worries, James. Go for it.
Right. I used to live down Brighton because I used to be an avid water skier.
Right.
And I went down there to do a job, and then the next job come up was Crawley. And I thought, well, near Brighton, I'll lodge in Brighton.
Right.
Anyway, like I say, I used to water ski. Now, at the end of Grand Avenue, which is a dividing line between Brighton and Home, there used to be a water ski lane going out to sea, boys.
Right.
It was the only place you were allowed to come in onto the beach, with your motorboat.
Right.
So this day, I was walking along, where the boys are, I looked over, my dog was running about on the grass, and I looked right to the left, to the right, not a soul on the beach. By the way, it's a pebble beach. Don't let them tell you it's a shingle beach. It's pebbles.
Pebbles, right.
Very uncomfortable to sit on.
Awful. Right.
Anyway, right below me was a foreign-looking gentleman, dressed in black, receding hair, and a big gold medallion down to his waist.
Right.
Now, my dog, been sniffing about on the grass, he come running up and he peed on the railing. Well, where did it go? All over this poor bloke's head. And I was howling with laughter. He said, "Is that your dog?" I said, "No, I've never seen him before in my life, mate."
Yeah, I can imagine. Get away, get away, get away.
2 minutes later, this young kid, he must have been about knee-high, his mother had him on a skateboard, and for some reason she yanked him off the skateboard. The skateboard went under the railings, and you won't believe it, hit this bloke on the head. He was the only bloke on the beach for half a mile. I had to walk away, my sides were split.
I was going to say, bizarre. Hey, wonderful stuff. James, thanks for sharing. Really appreciate it. Thanks for coming on.
I'll call me next week.
Look forward to it. Thank you very much. Talking about the whole war thing, I said that with VE Day, just wanted to remind you just some of the amazing calls that we've had about World War II.
How many people were killed in Wilkinson's pop factory?
Oh, I think the whole, about a good 100 or so, a good lot of people. I think the whole staff was.
So, I mean, there was no, like, air raid sirens to warn people to get out of there, then?
Well, there was a shelter. There was a siren for when the attack was, and then they're all clear. Right. But I don't know. It was a direct hit, you see, on the shelter.
Oh, right. So everybody that were hiding down the shelter
that was there was killed outright. Yeah.
Because, you know, a lot of people think the north of England must have got off fairly lightly during World War II, because you hear stories of Coventry being flattened and London, you know, being set on fire with a blitz pretty much from end to end. But I think the northeast, especially with stuff like the Vickers factory on the Tyne, all the shipyards on the Weir and what have you, blimey, they'd have been working us hard as well, I'd have thought.
And, of course, all over Teesside. And then we get stories from people who saw things back then. You know, we talk about we're living through interesting times. Well, blimey, imagine living through this kind of thing.
Why didn't they take any notice of the sirens then, the air raid sirens?
Well, nobody ever dropped by until the guy decided to say, oh, that's a nice place, come down a machine gun on the high street. Yeah.
And it's just, everybody's just shopping and the Messerschmitt comes there.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if they thought that was in the sale. And of course, Portsmouth was a well-known place for the enemy to attack.
Yeah, can you imagine? Yeah, shopping down a high street, and all of a sudden, a German Messerschmitt flies down the centre of the road, machine gunning people on both sides. What? Can you imagine, just for a second, what life was like for your grandparents, or maybe parents, depending on how old you are. Anyway, let's crack on. Let's talk to Ross, who's in Blythe. Hi, Ross.
Hi, Alan.
Hello, mate. All right. I'm good, thank you kindly. What are you talking about tonight?
Well, I was just going to let you know about these strange times how we're getting through it. We're having a weekly quiz on Zoom.
All right.
With about well, it varies between 10 and 12 people a week. And I've had a good night tonight. We've been fancy dress was as rock stars. So tonight, Alan, I'm Jimi Hendrix.
Oh, brilliant!
So I've got the afro wig and the fur waistcoat, the beads, the lock, the sunglasses. So,
fantastic.
But we've just finished this round and we came joint first and lost on the jackpot question.
Oh no! What was the jackpot question?
It was actually the host got a box of eggs from our fridge and said, "Guess how many's left in the box?" So, but we couldn't get that one. Ironically, it was our mum and dad got it right. In another house.
Yeah. But I bet was that there had to be a text going back and forth? Surely.
Oh well, who knows? But it's all the old regulars from a pub we used to go to a lot, Oliver's and Blythe. So we're just keeping in touch. You know what I mean?
That's lovely. It's lovely. But the thing that I think about quizzes, and I'll always remember, I was doing Night Owls one night, and one of the lads from our newsroom, I saw he's ringing in the middle of the show. Now, yeah, that's a great no. Oh no, not having that. Well, it was an ad break, so I thought, must be really important. He's from the news team. Maybe something really big's happening that I don't know anything about. And he's there, finger on the pulse and all of that. So I picked up the phone and he says, Alan, I'm in the toilet. I'm doing the quiz. There's 3 I can't get. And he was asking me all these questions to try and get the answers so that he could go back in and cheat. The cheeky note.
Oh, wait, there's none of that. Yeah, we're all honest. But, me and my flatmate are sitting there. Obviously, we're on the sofa, but we're not leaving. We're not going to the toilet or anything until the answers are read out. Oh, aye. You're not allowed to go and get another can from the fridge until the round's been answered and stuff.
That's quite right. Quite right.
But every night of the week, there seems to be some entertainment online. There's DJ sets. There's all sorts going on. So that's how we're getting through this at the minute. But
good. Hey, well, as long as you're keeping yourself busy, that's the main thing. Jimi Hendrix. So what was your girlfriend in?
Me what?
Your partner, rather.
Oh no, no, he's just a flatmate.
Oh, it's flatmate. I beg you. So what? Is it a he or a her?
No, I think he was dressed as Van Halen or something.
Oh, Van Halen, right? Okay.
We've had Alice Cooper. We've had. Who else? That was a lass dressed up as him actually, but
right.
we've had all sorts. We've had, who else was that? Guns N' Roses guy, Slash. He was very good. He even drew tattoos on his arms.
Brilliant.
But I think they'll all be listening, hopefully, anyway.
Just shows you what you can do if you've got too much time on your hands. You're sitting there drunk.
Aye. So last week was WWF theme.
Right.
The week before was, you might have heard of this latest craze, Tiger King, the show on Netflix.
Yes.
We all had to dress up as a theme from that. Well, the host Wallace, she looked more like him than he does himself. I think there's been something going on in the past with her, like
something down the family lane there that hasn't been spoken of.
It was unbelievable, but so it's just a way of keeping in touch. But what happens is, after the quiz is where the entertainment really starts, and you have the drinks flowing, and it's like being in a bar, and the stragglers are having a lock-in type of thing. But you're all on the same screen, so
it's all good. It's what you've got to do when there's no pubs. I mean, frankly, that's the only way you're going to get together, isn't it?
I know, but well, we're hoping. Well, I don't know what month it'll be, but my birthday's September, so hopefully there'll be a pub open by then. But if not, we'll just have to have a virtual party. But I've been doing my own DJ set Saturday night. I go live, what you call it, on Facebook, and but just a good laugh. You get people requesting songs and stuff, and
living it large, Ross. Living it large, man.
We're still at work as normal. Me and my flatmate are both carers, so we're still visiting people and getting on with that. So
respect for what you do, Ross, and I'm glad you've had a good night. Thanks for coming on, Jimi Hendrix. Top man.
Big bother.
Thanks, mate. Bye. And he says we're living in interesting times. It sounds like he's had a bit of a Jimi Hendrix experience. Brilliant. I love Voodoo Child. My goodness, what a tune that is. I was listening to his greatest hits about 4 days ago. You think he's just had one or two that's like stunning. And the wind cries, Mary, wow, wow. Anyway, didn't sell it really, did it? That. Anyway, let's crack on. We've got, I think, yes it is, it's Carol. And she's in Felling. Hello, Carol.
Good evening, Alan.
Hello. What you got for me then tonight?
Well, I would like to ask you, what did you do for VE Day?
For VE Day, I watched a whole batch of movies like you do. You couldn't go out anywhere to do any celebrations. Usually I go to one of the services, but nobody could this year, so you just got to stay in. And I remembered them, though, because obviously my dad's gone now, but he was always very big on... Funny thing, he wouldn't talk about his experiences, but he was very big on remembering those that had paid the ultimate price. What did you get up to then?
Well, just the neighbours each side, we all put the flags out.
Right, nice.
Andy on the left side put a big table out.
Mm-hmm.
We all contributed with food.
Right.
The children drew the hopscotch, which I drew the drawing for them.
Right.
Obviously, keeping the distance.
Sure.
So when one family got their food, another family got their food. Well, out there before 2 o'clock. And thanks to that radio station, we had 40s music playing all day.
Right.
So we had the 40s music played, and everybody had a brilliant time.
Hey, I tell you, cannot whack a bit of boogie-woogie bugle boy accompany be. That's an absolute fact. No, I love music from, every generation has special tunes. But around the 40s, there was some great songs, tremendous tunes.
Right, Glenn Miller.
Yeah. Ooh-wah, ooh-wah. That's a bit of Moonlight Serenade, just to start you off. Now, hey, great stuff. I'm glad you've had a lovely time.
We did. As I say, we didn't come in till 10, but it was getting cold.
Yeah, it freezed, a real breeze over the last 24 hours. You've also got a ghosty thing for me as well, haven't you?
Yeah, but first of all, what do you think about most haunted?
I've never had time for it, but what's your story then?
My story is I worked in the Sierra Royal.
Right.
It's not just a couple of years ago, about 30 odd years ago.
Right.
I used to work on every floor, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
My favourite place was the Grand Circle, because you got all the posh ones in there.
Right.
But this night I was working in the gallery.
Right.
Which my room was just like, you would say, a wooden shack before it got revamped.
Right.
So anyway, we're allowed, when the show started, to go down and to the different floors to talk to as long as you are back at your floor for the interview.
Gotcha.
And this night I went down to the upper circle, and the girl said, "Ooh, what a lovely perfume you're wearing." It was either a Thursday, Alan, because on the Thursday and the Saturday you had matinees where obviously you didn't have time to go home.
Right, yeah, sure.
And they said, "What a lovely perfume you got on." I thought, "I haven't got any perfume on." Haven't got any perfume on. I says, "What do you mean?" And I'd get me Auntie Elsie, who's deceased now,
right,
a job there, and said, "It's all right, a ghost just fell down." I went, "You what?" I didn't know how quick to leg it. I honestly didn't know. I run down. I wouldn't go down the back stairs.
Right.
You had to go down the main stairs, across the foyer, and up to the Grand Circle. So the girl said, "Carol, you look like you've seen a ghost." I just shook my head. I said, "Do you not feel well?" I shook my head again. I says, "I haven't seen a ghost, but according to me, Auntie Elsie once followed us."
Wow.
And believe it or not, the top was down in the Grand Circle. It just started playing, singlet.
How about
and I went, "You better take it back upstairs." I said, "I'm not going back up there. No way." That to go for the manager, who he was mint. They called him Mr. Oden. And he said, "Carol, what's the matter?" I says, "I'm not going back up there today. No way. I'm not going back up there." He says, "Okay, you stay down here, and I'll send somebody else up."
Right. I mean, it's the Theatre Royal's famous for a few ghosts. We had a guy who used to work as a dresser, in the costume department.
Yeah.
And he came on the show and gave us a whole host of different names of famous people that had seen ghosts or had experienced them. So you're certainly not alone. But thank you for all of that, Carol. Lovely to have you on. Thanks for calling in.
Okay.
Thanks, darling. You too. Bye-bye. Quick piece of music, I think, from somebody that we haven't heard enough of, frankly, and he's excellent. The guy's called Roachford. You forget how many great songs you're responsible for. I would imagine putting a gig together is quite an easy thing with all of that.
Yeah, easy and difficult at the same time because, I don't want to really be on stage forever. So you think, right, we'll leave that one off. And then someone will go, "Oh, no, you can't not do that. You've got to do that one."
Yeah.
Okay, well, then we'll take this one off. No, you got to keep that one. And it becomes this sort of like, well, one of these songs has got to go, at least two of these songs, because at the moment the set's 3 hours long. So, and I like to jam some of the songs a bit longer. So,
yeah.
But it's good fun because actually what happens is you find the audience is singing back the lyrics, and for them it's something that they've taken into it's part of their life. Some of my back catalogue is part of their life. So you'll get couples coming as well to the show, and they kind of, you play the song and they look at each other like, "This is our song. Remember when and it's like, oh, okay, too much information. Yeah, we conceived our son to that. So, yeah, okay, nice. Moving on swiftly.
Night Owls with Alan Robson.
What are we talking about next? You make the call. 0191 488 3188.
Greatest Hits Radio.
And lots of messages as well. Please get your messages in, particularly if you are on Facebook Live. I want to find out where you guys are from, what you've been up to. We're going to give a lot of those mentions out soon. And we'll keep the Facebook Live and the YouTube going as long as we can. Michelle O'Neill says it's cool seeing you. Thank you very much. Cool seeing you. We'll get some clothes on even at this time of night. And also, Brian Ainscough says, it's just like the old days, falling asleep to the best show on earth. Saying thank you. That's really nice. Thank you. Alison Ford just loves the live thing. We've got an idea for doing another show, the like self-financing A show, and if it works, moving on to another, and who knows where it can lead, but doing one television Night Owls in the middle of the week, something we have to do ourselves, but just tipping you the wink that it may well be going to happen. Lorraine Baldwin says, enjoying the show. Hi to Karen. And Paul Stevenson says, Tommy is a belter, and she lets me whack the whippet. Now, you never know whether that's... is that a euphemism? I was in my bedroom last night walking the whippet. I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. And he wants to say happy birthday, happy 50th, in fact, to Tamara. And they say tomorrow never comes. And that is because you're not allowed out during a lockdown. There you go. We've got it all nailed right. Whew, I think I dug my way out of that one. We've got Jan from Gateshead next. Hi, Jan.
Hi.
Hello, love. What are you talking about tonight, then?
Well, do you know how we're all locked in the houses and that?
Yeah.
Lockdown.
Noticed that.
Well, I've getting me oldest daughter back. She's been going through a lot.
Right.
And
where was she?
Now.
Where was she, Jan?
She was living in South Shields.
All right, okay.
Bit of domestic violence and things like that.
Blimey, right.
She's getting better. Good. So I'm pleased I got her back just before the lockdown, because I wouldn't, with her living over there, me being here, I would be panicking in my life.
Have you built up a nicer relationship now that you've spent so much time together?
She goes on TikTok.
Right.
She's absolutely great on that. Well, the day, right, because I was a bit bored.
Right.
I sat on the top of the stairs behind, like, the banister thing. And she was, like, doing TikToks, but it was just, like, for fun.
Right.
So anyways, just coming down the stairs, and she's always on the phone.
Yeah.
As young adults do, and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she didn't say she had a can of pop in her hand. She got that much of a fight to squeeze the can and, like, crushed the can and screamed. She got a fright. I'll give her a fright. So we've had fun in that. So relationships are, like, getting, like, really better.
That's good.
Than what it was ever before. You know what I'm...
Well, I mean, just spending the 24/7 with somebody, even in a really good relationship, it's a real test. Because, you know, we all like treacle pudding, but we don't like eating it 24 hours a day for 7 weeks in a row. You know, that's the thing. So we've just got to compromise a little bit more and try not to be irritating. That seems to be the way.
But it's more fun. You make your own fun in the lockdown, don't you?
You do. That's absolutely right. You
just
do.
to keep everybody... Well, what I've been doing is been watching the Jam Lockdown.
Right.
All the Northeast musicians.
Yes.
I tell you what, you've got some talent in the Northeast on there. Like,
absolutely.
I didn't even know any of it.
And it's non-stop as well. It just keeps going, then the next one, then the next one, and the next one. It's brilliant.
They raise money and that, like, for the NHS and that. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Been doing that. I found a girl called Kelly Rock.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's Manchester Arena, the 22nd of this month.
Right, yeah.
For Manchester.
Mm-hmm.
She's done some singing.
Mm-hmm.
Sent it to me Facebook because I lost Courtney Boyle, a great cousin, in Manchester Arena. So I just thought I'll give something back, because with the lockdown, they can't go and see relatives, for everything, for comfort and that. So I've just sent them all a song. What Kelly Rock sang.
That's nice.
And then my granddaughter just had a birthday. I've missed it, but I got Tanisha to sing for Grace, because it's the child singing happy birthday. And Joe recorded it. And when she was looking at the message, birthday singing and that, and her face lit up. And I thought, well, that's the only thing I can do for the band.
That was nice, a nice touch. What do you think about the lockdown then, Jan? Are you for it? Are you against it? Where do you stand in the whole thing?
Right, do you know what I'm worried about?
What's that, love?
The children going back to school. Is it going to be safe? Is it not?
Well, I mean, we're told that the children are the strongest, and they're the ones that are less affected than the rest of society. If that's, hey, you don't know whether they're telling you the truth or not, but if that is the case, they're strong enough, they've got a decent immune system. Even if they get it, they'll feel poorly for a couple of days, but they'll be fine. It's the older people we've got to be more concerned about. But even so, they're talking about something that they haven't fathomed. They haven't worked out how it works yet, and you can't make decisions until you know how it works. I mean, it's fairly straightforward, but it's scary times.
There's one more thing before I go, because the callers are waiting.
Okay.
Alex got COPD.
Right.
And he's been a bit bad, very bad. So the doctor is been phoning him to see if he's all right, so they give him inhalers, whatever.
Right.
Then they said he should have been better by now, so his chest was still bad.
Right.
And
but he's got COPD, because your chest's always bad when you got COPD, doesn't it?
So the doctor told him to come down. So he went down just to check on him.
Right. Good. Well, at least he's been seen.
But doctors are there for everybody, aren't they? And the good doctors.
I think that's what we're finding out. That's the difference between the good and those that are really just seem to be getting away with doing very little.
My doctors, the teams, they've looked after Alex, and I can keep my hat off.
Vouch for them. No, how well said. Jan, thank you very much, Laura.
Right, thank you.
Take care.
I'll see you later, Alan.
Look forward to it. Bye-bye. 01914883188. Chris Sheridan's been on, says, Alan, I've been isolating with my partner of 5 years now for 7 weeks. She's getting a bit fed up with me, and she's looking a bit down. Could you please give her a shout out? It's Katie from Low Fell. And he says, P.S. I'll try to be less annoying. Haha. Difficult, isn't it, though? And everybody's the same. You're living with somebody in such close confines, getting a bit of space. Just got to remember the other person and just give them a bit of room from time to time. Not the easiest thing in the world when stuff's going on, but just do the best you can. And let's give you the second clue. We're looking for a massive hit. It's kind of a rocky one. The first clue is, what do Native Americans call the Europeans who invaded and murdered them? Okay, a bunch of, I would imagine. But other than that, the simple clue to this is opposite of black plus the opposite of woman. Okay? Second clue, wet stuff and it's salty. If it's not in an ocean, it's in a what? Okay? The wet stuff, water, and it's salty. If it's not in an ocean, it's in a what? Okay? Wet stuff and it's salty. If it's not in an ocean, it's in a what? Okay? It's a different large area of water, just not called an ocean. Okay? I think you can work that out. Then you've got 2 clues for this song. You've got 2 more to come. Then you've got to guess what this massive hit, a breakthrough hit, you could argue, for a band that ended up having probably 15, 20 hits. Okay? But of the rocky end. Is that your sort of thing? First time I've thrown a real hard rocky one in. We'll see. We'll test you tonight. Brian is with us from Gateshead. Hi, Brian.
Oh, hi, Alan. I've got a few things to ask. Number one, the last time I think you were going to be doing a ghost hunt at the Fever Hospital at the Rising Sun Country Park in North Tyneside. Did that ever come off?
Yes.
All right, was it ever played on the radio? I can't remember ever hearing that one.
All right, okay. No, we've. In fact, I think we've probably done 2 there over the time. But yes.
Oh, I must have missed it. I must have been on one night when I was out. I must have missed it. It just stuck in my head, and I thought, did you ever get round to going there? Because I know you were saying you're going to be doing something from there. Do you know what I mean? So
we did a couple of things. We did a ghost hunt, and we also went up there to visit I think it was an owl sanctuary up in that neck of the woods as well. But anyway, what else can we do for you then, Brian?
Oh, a couple of things. What's your view on, some of these people who are coming over from France in these boats, right?
Yeah.
I've been reading about it in the paper. Quite a few of them have got the COVID-19 virus. Why we're letting these people in if they've got the virus? Because obviously, for national security, surely we would be preventing people from coming across. Do you know what I mean?
Well, these people, if they get in a boat and trying to sneak across, if they're caught, they shouldn't be allowed in anyway. They should be sent back. The problem we've got, though, comes kind of from Brexit, because at one time, when we were a full partner in Europe, and we've kind of got one. It's a bit like the hokey cokey. We've got 1 foot in and 1 foot out at the present moment. But when we had both feet in, the French and the Belgians and the Dutch, they all had a good reason to try and stop people from coming over the water. They're doing us a favour. We're trying to look after them, the European brothers in arms and all the rest of it. Well, now Britain's leaving Brexit. They say, well, why the hell should we stop people coming over?
I was just about to say, it's like saying, well, stuff fusion, not part of this, because obviously there's got to be quite a bit of money now that we've left.
It's not our problem anymore, is it? They're not they're not going to be in the EU, so let them have as many people as can get over there.
I mean, you've got the army sitting on the backside in barracks doing nothing. Why aren't the army down there locking down? I mean, patrolling the area, and because obviously they've got the ability to grab these individuals and lock them up and then send them straight back. I don't know what the army's doing, but they're supposed. I remember the Tories. I remember David Cameron was saying, "We're going to get tough on immigration. They're going to get their numbers right down." But these people are not like you said. They're just sneaking in.
Yeah.
And they've got the disease now, because a lot of these camps have got the virus there, and obviously. It's a danger to this country's national security, isn't it?
I don't know whether they've got it or whether they haven't, but whether they do or whether they don't, they still shouldn't be allowed to get in and stay. The problem with the British government has always been they talk it. They talk it like the normal person in the street wants it, which is we've got to defend our borders. We don't mind people coming in if they can give the country something, if they can offer them a skill. If if they're talented individuals who are going to make things better, but people shouldn't just walk in and expect to be looked after and fed and nursed and housed and all of this. If they're coming over here to be in effect unemployed, there's no country on earth that benefits from people coming in with a hand out. So we should be the same. Don't mind rescuing people that are in trouble. Usually they're the ones that do the most for the country they move to because they're so grateful.
So I haven't really been. I haven't been to France full stop. I know you've lived there and you've been there. It's no different from here, really, is it? No. So there's no reason for they must be thinking, we'll get a free house off the government over here. We'll get a free handout, like you said.
Well, I mean, the law's changed, and they're not getting that, and they're not getting any benefits until they've generated, I think it's 6 months of work. They've got to work here for 6 months before they get anything.
I think, right.
It's a better thing.
I mean, a lot of people come here, right? Well, not a lot. I'm just saying some people do get houses here, and they shouldn't be given houses. If they get here, they should be putting some kind of, I don't know, do you know what I mean? Like some kind of accommodation block, but not giving houses, because that sends out the wrong message. Do you know what I mean? There should be.
Well, the thing is, if they did it sensibly in the way that Canada does it, Australia and America, and you say the only people that can move over here is if you have a skill that we need, and you've got to apply for it. You cannot just land. You put an application in. They say yes, you can come and work in the United Kingdom. And we're welcome to you. You're an architect or a highfalutin physicist, or maybe we're just short of plumbers, and you're a talented plumber. How are you over?
as long as we don't have to pay you anything. If you're going to be here, raise money, raise taxes, and pay your way, we don't have any kind of problem with people. It's just if you're going to come over here and essentially leech off us, we don't want those kind of people.
Absolutely. I think as well they made a massive mistake in the mid-1980s or the late 1980s when they turned half these universities, these polytechnics. Do you remember polytechnics were like really good places where you could learn a proper skill like bricklaying, engineering, all these like proper good manual skills. Well, do you know what I mean? Like these like proper, like manual skills like that. And they turned all the blinking polytechnics into universities and obviously just focused on doing like degrees and healthcare and social care and all that kind of stuff. We should have just kept them as polytechnics.
Right.
And we would have had a better skill, we would have had probably a bigger workforce than we've got now.
Right.
But I think after all this, we're going to have to start changing our ways, really, aren't we, in this country and respecting these skills and giving people more opportunities to train in these like professions to be skilled plumbers, plasterers, bricklayers.
Well, I've always believed that the trades, especially I know it sounds kind of old school, the traditional. Be a tradesman, young man, and you'll not, or young woman, and you'll never go wrong. That's what my dad used to try and drum into me. It didn't work. I tried following in his footsteps. I was crap, so I had to launch in a different direction. But I've always believed that they're valuable things. It's just my worry, and I'm horrified for small businesses. I've been hit massively by the whole thing, as you know, I'm on 1 day a week, have been for a year now. So it's hit me like a hammer. But I feel very sorry for the small business. I feel really sorry for the whole entertainment network, the pubs, the clubs, the sporting venues, because they're all dead in the water at the present moment. So I feel hugely sorry for all of those. But my worry, the other people I'm scared about, it's all of the firms that have either furloughed staff or laid them off, and a lot have, because a lot of them are finding out, how can I do my business without those people? And they've had 7 weeks to find different ways to do the same job with fewer people. Now, I guarantee you, any company that finds they can still do their job with fewer people will not hire those people any longer, and those people will a lot of them will end up losing their jobs.
Yeah.
And that's
I'm going to be sad
my
when it gets back to normal, because obviously, for nightlife, you go to Newcastle, Sunderland, or whatever, to pubs and clubs, and some of the old clubs and pubs. I mean, the old traditional pubs that are there.
How many of them were struggling after the smoking ban? They were on the backside to start with, and now they've had this to deal with. And in some cases, trying to pay wages and trying to get money off the government, but I've only got temporary staff, so that doesn't count. So they're getting out, and it's a really sad and
question is, Alan, where's all this blinking money coming from? I mean, obviously, I'm hoping to God I haven't got the money for HS2, because that was a white elephant in my eyes. Just hope they don't ever build it now. But do you remember Theresa May? Oh, we haven't got a magic money tree. Boris has just found a mountain full of money. He's just handing money all out all over the place. Do you know what I mean? The Tories now can never have a go. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean about the Tories? They can never now have a go at Labour about spending money and getting into debt, because obviously the Tories have had, their policies are completely turned upside down on their head.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They've got money for this. I mean, it's good that they're building new cycle tracks and paths and all that, but you know what I mean?
Just trust me that if every time a government, it doesn't matter whether it's Labour, Tory or whoever, when a government gives you money, they will spend the next 10 to 15 years getting it back. There's no question about it. Watch out for taxes, austerity, all that kind of, hell's teeth. It's all coming our way, and I can't ever remember a time when we as a people have got out for doubt, if you know what I mean.
Aye. I'm hoping that Boris will pack it in and we'll have another election and get the Tories out. I've never liked the Tories and never will.
Yeah, but the problem is, though, is Labour strong enough these days? He's got the new guy, Starmer. What do you think of him?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't like Corbyn very much, but he was a bit of a loudmouth, and I quite like that when he's had a good go at Boris and stuff. But this other guy's too much of a gentleman, isn't he? You know, he's very quiet, and he's a bit like kind of a Tony Blair type of character. He's not really going to like shake the tree really in Parliament, is he? Do you remember when they had a big slanging match? Cameron and not Cameron. He's just left. Well, I can't remember. He's gone. You know, the guy who was just packed it in there, the old leader.
Jeremy Corbyn.
Corbyn, and I said Cameron there. Jeremy Corbyn, yeah, he used to like shout off a lot, and now we've got politics is going to be really quiet and like all done like gentlemanly, and you know what I mean. It's not going to be like
you like it dirty.
You know, I like it when they have a good slang and match and the things, you know what I mean, and the, you know what I mean, when they have to go at each other. But now it's proper like friendly and all that, and
too nicey.
Isn't it? Yeah.
I've got you. Brian, for all of that, thank you very much, mate. All the best.
Good day, Alan.
Thanks. Take care. Let's quickly get Alison on because we've got some blah coming as well. Hi, Alison.
Hi there, Alan. How are you doing?
I'm good. Tell me everything you want to talk about.
Well, first off, it's really strange because I'm sitting watching you on Facebook Live.
Hello.
So it's really strange that I can see you while I'm talking to you.
Right.
But when you were talking before about things about being naughty when you were a child.
Oh, what'd you get up to then?
One of the things that I used to do that I always used to get wrong for is I used to sit behind my auntie's settee. Right. And she had a little poodle. And I used to sit and share polos with the poodle, and it was a lick for him and a lick for me.
Right. Oh,
and the same with ice cream. I used to do that with ice cream. It was a lick for him and a lick for me.
Trust me.
And I never caught anything.
I was going to say, trust me, if you can get through that, you got nothing to worry about with the COVID.
Exactly.
But you see, this is the thing, man. And again, all I can say is, you know, the kind of things you get taught by your parents always stick in your head, especially if you taught them when you're young. And my dad always says, and I'm not going to say the word he said, he didn't swear much, but he was, you know, every now and then he would drop. So it was usually a bloody or a bugger about once a sentence. But he also used to say, we've all got to eat some, rhymes with might, before we die. And it says the good thing about that is it builds up your immune system so you can fight off any bugs that come around. And I still believe that that's true. And I don't trust about 70% of what I've been told about the lockdown. But the thing is, the majority of the people have gone with it and they believe it and they're terrified of it because the government want us to be terrified of it, which is exactly the reason why I'm not terrified of it. Because they want us to be.
Kind of go opposite, haven't you?
A little bit. What do you think about it, though? Are you scared of it or what?
I am a bit.
Right.
Because we don't know what it is. So we don't know how it's... And I think that's the scary bit, because if it was just a flu virus, and if I believed them that it was just a flu virus, the same as every other flu virus, I wouldn't be scared.
No, you crack on, and you wouldn't be locked down, and you'd be mixing with people who they all have a thing. You go on any bus or tube or whatever. There's a cough here, there's a hack there, there's a sneeze over yonder. It's all around us, and it's all disease of one sort or another. But now we've got to be scared of this particular one.
And it just doesn't add up.
Yeah,
it really doesn't add up. So that's.
I'm with you.
I'm sure there's a little bit conspiracy behind there.
Dum dum dum. There's gonna be in 5 years there'll be a movie about it, and the movie will probably get it right, but the government will say, "Oh no, that's just a stupid film," and yet it'll be I don't know, some plot by a foreign power to chemical warfare, or who knows? Could be anything.
Yeah, and that leads me on nicely to what I wanted to talk about next.
Brilliant. Always like a good link.
One of the things, I've got a business called Leaving a Lasting Impression, where I help to encourage people to write down memories and record the stories about the life and the facts about the life, so that it's there later on down the line for people. So one of the things I'm doing at the minute is kind of encouraging people to do that right now, to record how they're feeling, to record what they think about it, to record like what their views are on it, because it was kind of some of the things I was listening to around VA Day, where there was some celebrities reading diaries of people who were there at the time,
blimey, right, yeah,
and how they felt, and it was so true and real and emotional and raw. And I thought the best time to be journaling about this or making a video about how you feel about it
it's right in the middle of it.
Is now, as it's happening, rather than like in 6 months' time when you're thinking, how did I feel back then? Because that's all distorted, and that's all, memories are always distorted. They're not kind of like true and real and vivid. So I'm encouraging people now to just pick up a pad and start writing things down and what the experience was for them. Because in years to come, when their kind of memory boxes are passed down to their grandchildren, I thought it'd be really cool if, say, like, you've got a grandchild or a great-great-grandchild and they're doing a project at school on the 2020 global pandemic. Because it will happen. It is going to be a historical event. And I think it's going to be even more of a historical event when the truth comes out.
Right.
So if we can journal and write about what our experience of it was, I think that will be something in the future that will be really, really special for people to read, because it's so different for everybody.
No, it is absolutely. A lot of kids, if provided that this isn't an ongoing dance where they call everybody into lockdown 4 times a year for a month here and a month there. Let's hope it's not that. But I'm just picturing, I don't know, little Tommy dragging his granddad into the school for play and tell. My granddad was there. He was there during the lockdown. The great lockdown of 2020. I bet it will. I bet it will.
It will. I think it will be one of the historical events. And so I'm just encouraging people to record that.
Yeah. I hope Grandad goes in there and says, I never trusted them. I knew they were up to something.
Was a conspiracy. Shaking his stick.
Brilliant.
So I'm just encouraging people to try and do that. So
That's a
tonight I was like just to get something down on paper.
Yeah, the
so
funny, the things that really bug you about it, the irritating things, everything, because at this moment, my head's full of all of that. So now's the time. Hey, but you're quite right.
Exactly.
Anything else then, Alison?
There's just one last thing that can you just give a special shout out? It's a friend of mine who's actually had COVID-19.
Good. And it is well, I trust.
He was tested positive. Yes, he is well now. He came through it, but he was quite poorly.
Sure.
Well, he started a Facebook page, and he's going to be starting a YouTube channel, and it's called Alex's Lockdown Songs.
Alex's Lockdown Songs?
Yeah, he's a fantastic singer.
Right.
And he's taken requests on a daily basis, and every day he comes on and he sings a song, and it's short tunes, it's Michael Bublé, it's all kind of things, and all he's doing is, he says, it's just to help people smile, because his wife's a doctor, so she's in the thick of it all.
Right.
So he dedicates it always to the NHS. I just wanted to give him a shout out for anybody who wants to just have a smile.
Good.
Anybody who wants to smile every day, to go along and sing along with Alex's Lockdown Songs on Facebook.
Fantastic. I'm sure they will. Alison, thanks a lot. And thanks for your texts, your
Lovely
tweets and
to
all of
talk
that.
to you.
All the best, love.
Take care, bye.
She's lovely. We love her. Tell you what, we're also kind of fond of Billy Ocean. What's been your best? You're highlighting
my
your
best
low
bit,
line.
I think, was really, having, Caribbean Queen being a hit, which sort of brought me to the attention of the world. It probably isn't the best record I've made. It probably isn't my favorite, but it is, from a material point of view, because of what it did. I always sort of,
Yeah,
it's really, it's high up. I mean, as far as videos and things are concerned, I cannot cancel out the video I did with Danny DeVito and Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner. That's great. The worst thing really was once I was doing a video by a track, on a track called Nights Feel Like Getting Down with a Tiger. And the tiger was very kind, because the tiger had had enough. And she just opened her mouth, and my whole leg was just swallowed up.
Wow.
But for some strange reason, she didn't grip. And she just sort of took her mouth out, and there was all this saliva on my trousers.
My, that could have been so different, couldn't
we
it?
stopped. The video was finished because really and truly the video was finished. But you know, in this business we tend to go for one more. I remember doing vocals where I think I've done my best vocals, working with other producers, and they say, Billy, one more, and you know you've done it.
Yeah.
In this case, it was the same thing. I'd done it. I really felt, yeah, this is it. We've done it. But the producer said one more, and more smoke. Well, of course, smoke and animals don't really
go together.
And
at
the
all.
tiger had really had enough. But he told me in the best possible way, because if he'd gripped, I would have been legless.
Yeah.
And that's not legless from drinking a few pints of Guinness
No,
either.
at all. No. Hi everybody, it's Alan Robson, and that's the end of the broadcast. Billy Ocean's singing his heart out. If you want to listen to us on the radio, we got the Blah coming and a whole lot more. So make sure that you listen on any of the various things on your Alexa or your DAB, or tune in your radios. But the stream's ending now. Thanks for being with us. We'll have another one for you next week, and pretty soon we're going to be coming up, hopefully, with something. That's my headphones being squealing at you. We're hoping to try out a little bit of Night Owls TV that we'll try and finance between us. So fingers crossed, changes are coming. But thanks for being with us. Have a lovely night and stay safe.